Relationships. Update: am I the a-hole for kicking my wife and her daughter out of my house? Original post. Me, 32 male, and my wife Andy, 34 female, have been together for about 3 years now. We are married for one of those years. We get along really well, only problem is her daughter Carrie, 16 female. She is a daughter from my wife's previous marriage. Her father, my wife's ex-husband, died in a car accident about 5 years ago. When me and Andy started dating, we took things really slow. She didn't introduce me to Carrie until she knew things were serious between us. When I met Carrie, she was acting really distant and overall, she was mean to me. But I understood that, of course. I tried to bond with her and spend some time together, but I never forced her to do anything she didn't want to do. I told her to address me by my first name, and had no intention to replace her father. I just wanted us to get along. Things got better, but sometimes she was rude to me, and had some inappropriate comments. I never said anything to her, because my wife told me to just give her some time. Things really escalated after our marriage. I offered my wife and her daughter to live in my house. Andy immediately agreed, her daughter not so much. But since she was 15 at the time, my wife gave her no choice. That's when the problems started. Carrie would intentionally make a mess in the kitchen, like destroying glasses and plates, and leave the sharp glass on the ground. She would throw things out of the window and insult our neighbors, etc. This would happen like twice a week. I admit I have a bad temper, so sometimes I yelled at her and made her clean her mess, but I never laid my hands on her and never physically punished her. My wife repeatedly told her to stop behaving like that, but it didn't help. This went on for about a year. Last week, she had outdone herself. Me and Andy were coming home from dinner and the garage door was open. We found Carrie there and she was destroying my car. I have BMW X5, so a pretty expensive one. She slashed 2 tires with a knife and scratched the surface with her keys. I completely snapped. I called her evil little b and to get the F out of my house. My wife sided with her, and said that Carrie is just acting out, and I shouldn't call her like that. I was furious and told my wife that if she's okay with Carrie destroying my stuff, she can get the F out as well. We argued about 15 minutes. During the argument I said that I want Carrie to pay for my car, and if she won't, I will sue her. I have camera in my garage and have everything recorded. Andy told me I can't do that, and that I'm heartless. In response to that, I told them both to pack their bags and get out. It was almost 12 p.m. They packed and left. When I think about it now, I know I could have handled the situation better and more calmly. But I think this kind of had to happen. We will be having a divorce, and I will be seeing a lawyer to sue Carrie for destroying my car. I was just so fed up with her constantly destroying stuff and overall being toxic. I talked about this with my parents, and my mom kinda thinks I'm the a-hole. So Reddit, am I the a-hole? Now for the top comments before reading the update. Not the a-hole. There's a difference between giving space, and allowing someone to walk all over you. You gave the space and drew a line. If your wife had any respect for you or your marriage, she would have handled it before it got to this point. The kid needs therapy, but things like that don't fly in the real world. Better a civil court case versus charges being pressed. You can't sue your own family. As the girl is 16, she can't be liable and thus it's going to fall back on her guardian, the mother. As they are married, you're basically suing yourself. So, there is already a lot of questions about suing a 16-year-old. I don't know if I still want to do that, but I will try to explain it for you guys. I live in Central Europe, and the law in my country says that after the age of 15, you can be held accountable for your actions legally. You can't be sent into prison, but you aren't treated like a minor either. So yes, I could sue a 16-year-old. Me and my wife had a prenup and didn't share money. So after the divorce, if it actually happens, we should get settled pretty easily, so I won't be suing her or even myself. I don't know that if I sue Carrie, her mother will end up being the one who has to pay for the damage. I haven't talked to the lawyer yet. Sue her, sue her, sue her. That's a really expensive car she ruined, and she needs to be held responsible. Let it be known that what's about to happen is not the mother's fault, but her, Carrie's, fault. Sue her. And even if the mother has to pay for it, let it be known that it's because of what Carrie did. She's gotten away with her BS because they could blame it on grieving the loss of her father. I'm sorry, not in my house. There is a difference between grief and being an a-hole. She's an a-hole. And now for the update. Hey guys, a lot of you asked me how am I doing and for an update. It has been couple of weeks since the incident now. I met with my wife and we discussed everything. She wanted to continue with our marriage and give it a second chance, but I told her I want a divorce. It was very hard for me, but in the end, I think it was the right thing to do. I still love my wife, but I don't want to be caught in the middle of all that again. Last year was the most stressful and hardest period of my life, and I felt like I have to put my mental health and my well-being first. This wasn't easy for Andy either, but I think she understood. We agreed this would be also better for Carrie. I strongly advise to get her daughter professional help, and Carrie has started therapy last week. We went to lawyer's office and signed the divorce papers. It was really quick and smooth. We had a prenup, didn't share money, and our marriage lasted only a year. There are still some small things that need to be dealt with, but it is pretty much over. I also met with my lawyer. We got a rough estimate on that car damage, and it's a lot. 2 slashed tires, deep scratches all over the car and a bit cracked windows. It is about €6,000. Average salary in my country is about €1,000 a month, so this is a lot of money. We talked to my insurance company and my insurance doesn't cover vandalism, or any damage of this kind. My lawyer strongly advised me to go to the police and press charges against Carrie. I wasn't sure about this, but he said if anything goes wrong, this will help my case. So, I did that. Couple days after I met with Andy to talk about this situation. We both brought our lawyers to help us with all the legal stuff. I told her my insurance won't cover anything, and I want her to pay for all the damage. She said she doesn't have that much money. They moved in with her parents and she is looking for a new place, so she needs all the money she can get right now. I offered to pay for the damage now and she will be paying me back when she has the money. She agreed. Because I reported Carrie to the police, she will have a criminal record, which sucks, because it will likely cause her problems in the future, but she kind of brought it on herself, and in a couple of weeks, she will be facing something like a civil rights court. My lawyer said she will most likely end up getting a court-ordered psychiatrist, and some hours of community work. It has been a really rough couple of weeks, but my amazing friends helped me a lot to get through this all, and I'm glad it's over. Also thank you guys for your judgments and kind messages. Now for some top comments. I'm sorry your marriage turned out like this. I hope you have a repayment plan in writing with your ex-wife. I'm going to guess so, because they had their lawyers present. Lawyers want everything in writing. We signed a contract. She will have about 26 months to pay me back. I didn't think this was important so I didn't mention it. Good for you for standing your ground. And don't feel bad for reporting Carrie to the police. You did her a favor. If she doesn't get punished when she is young for doing bad things, she will continue to do these things when she is older, and only get herself in more trouble. Additionally, being sad/shocked doesn't mean that she can do anything she wants. She can let out her anger/grief by talking. Scratching up someone's car and causing €6,000 in damages simply isn't acceptable. Exactly this. This may be the first time she's held accountable, and while it's understandable she may still be dealing with the loss of her father, this kind of behavior isn't acceptable and isn't excusable. Man, I feel for Carrie. She messed up, and you're doing what you got to do, but that girl so obviously has spent the last 5 years crying for help, and it took an inciting event like this and her breaking up a marriage for her mother to realize she needed therapy after her father died unexpectedly. Moral of this story, therapy is good, people. Please, if you have trauma or a mental illness, or are just stressed or sad and you have access to one, see a therapist. Now for the next story. Update: I want to leave my girlfriend, not her daughter. Original post. I apologize in advance, this is 100% drunk stream of consciousness. I've, 39 male, been with my girlfriend, 31 female, for 6 years. The first 4 were good, the last 2 have been on a steady decline, leading up to the discovery that she's been cheating on me with her co-worker for a year. Long story short, I suspected, snooped, found out. So it goes. The thing is, I pay for everything. I have a great job that affords me the ability to not care about the cost of anything. She quit her job to be a stay-at-home mom, and I pay for her daughter's private school, hobbies, etc. It was honestly not a big deal, until I found out she was cheating on me and ridiculing me behind my back. I'm done, it's over. The problem is, what to do about her daughter. I've grown really close to her daughter, Olivia. She's 14, she's brilliant, and honestly, we're like best friends. We talk about everything, I guide her as best I can, and she's so freaking smart it's almost ridiculous. I want to continue to support her financially, but I know her mother would throw a crap fit if she knew I wanted to pay for Olivia's education etc., and not for the perks that come from being rich. Her mother has grown complacent with a lifestyle she won't be able to afford when I leave. I fear she will try to use Olivia to manipulate me into funding her extravagant BS. I don't want Olivia to go through that. I do want to continue to give Olivia everything she needs, to grow into the woman I know she can be. I love her very much, and she astounds me with everything she does. I want to support that. My worry is that, if I continue to support her, then her mother will try to extort me for additional funds for herself. She might even use Olivia as a bargaining chip. Sorry if this is a rambling mess, I'm kind of a mess right now. I honestly don't know what to do. I'm scared. Now for the top advice before reading the update. Nothing wrong with this and it seems like you've got best intentions. A couple of things. 1. You can set up a trust or an education savings plan in her name. I'd also talk to an accounting firm here on other options. 2. I would get a lawyer to talk through. Different states and countries will have different family law. 3. Keep in mind, splitting will be ugly. And the concept of 40-year-old man wanting to keep in touch with a 14-year-old girl when you're not legally a parent, will be twisted and turned into something ugly. Be prepared for that. Hence the lawyer part. 4. Situations are rarely static. The relationship may eventually sour between you and her, since she's entering into formative years. Her mother will no doubt trash talk you. Her mother could get a new man and he's awesome for the daughter, leaving you the odd man out. Are you prepared to put away money for her schooling / support her financially if she hates or ignores you? Now that I've slept on it and sobered up, I agree that a meeting with my lawyer is definitely the first thing I need to do. There are a lot of things to iron out in terms of making an exit with the least amount of collateral damage. Thanks for taking the time to write such a helpful reply, I appreciate it. You could set up a trust for Olivia for educational purposes at least and make sure that her mother can access it. Sorry I don't know a lot about that but it's the first thing that comes to mind. Great idea, I'll look into it. Thank you. I don't just want to be a dollar sign though, I want to be there for her as a support system. I think things might get really bad if I leave. I devalue my own worth as a person, but part of me thinks if I stick it out for 4 more years, it'll be worth it for her. Is that completely dumb? The fact that you are even considering sucking it up and staying, shows how great of a father you are. Talk to your daughter, she will understand. She's 14 years old and got a great head on her shoulders. And now for the update. Basically, I wanted to say thank you to everyone who responded. It got more attention than I thought it ever would and people have been so supportive and kind. After much thought, I decided to appeal to my girlfriend's better nature, and have an honest conversation with her. It went surprisingly well. We agreed the relationship had run its course. She apologized for cheating on me and not ending it when she knew she should. It was about money. Fine, I knew it, I don't have the energy to hold a grudge right now. We've agreed that it was a good idea for me to fund Olivia's schooling. I'm happy to do it and my girlfriend is okay with a clean break. We had the talk with Olivia. Her mother and I both agreed that we keep things vague. The truth isn't pretty and won't do anyone any good. She was angry with me and that's okay, I'm not going to be around anymore so she needs her mom, and the idea of who her mom is, more than she needs me. That's it. I hope Olivia and I can have a relationship sometime in the future, but for now, I'm removing myself from the equation. Thanks again to everyone who gave me advice and support. It really meant the world to me to know that so many people really cared. Edit. So okay, wow, I didn't expect this response at all. Thank you to the majority of the people here. I've done my best to respond to the private messages etc. There are a few things I want to address in terms of misconceptions FAQs. 1. It's 100% my decision to pay for Olivia's schooling. I pay the school directly as I have always done, and her mother doesn't control that. I'm looking at this as doing something for someone I love. Her mom might benefit from it, but she isn't any part of the reason I'm doing this. 2. I think the way we decided to tell Olivia about the breakup was the right way. I've let her know that I'll always be around if she wants to see me, but things happen and it just didn't work between her mother and I. I disagree with people saying I should air the dirty laundry. It's between her mother and I want to keep it that way. Her dad died before she could know him, her mom has been the only parent she's ever known, and I'm not willing to destroy their relationship for the sake of this truth. It's on her mom to improve herself in the future, otherwise she'll just expose herself later on. 3. I'm doing alright. I meant it when I said, that the response to these posts has been more than I could have ever imagined. I feel really blessed that a bunch of internet strangers take time out of their day to write me words of encouragement, support, send private messages, etc. I even had a lady offer to fly out to me, make me a steak and blow me. It was probably definitely 97% a catfish, but the ego boost was nice. Point being, I really appreciate you all, thank you. Now for some closing comments. I, 23, started dating a woman, 19, with a 6-month-old daughter in 1999. We were together for 2 years until we broke it off when I had to move city for a job offer. The breakup was devastating, not only because I was lonely in a new city, but also because her daughter had been a part of my life every day for 2 years. I've always tried to remain friends with all of my exes, and can honestly say that has worked most of the time. I think there's only 2 or 3 that ended so badly that one of us simply don't want to be near the other. So, with this in mind, I decided that I wanted to remain as a father figure to her daughter, and asked the mother if that would be okay. She said of course. It was still extremely difficult for me for a long time living apart, but it grew easier with time. I would drive back to my hometown to see them, and my parents and other friends, at least once a month. And she would bring her to my town occasionally too, often leaving her with me for the weekend while she visited local friends. Many years of birthdays and other moments throughout her life, including teaching her to swim in the ocean, walking her to and from school, teaching her to ride a bike, driving her to her first concert, Bieber, taking her with me to her first metal and alternative music festival at 14, having a talk, her first breakup, taught her to drive, high school graduation, her first legal drink, her first day of uni, paid for her first tattoo, and so many more. Unfortunately, I missed out on her 16th birthday, but was there for her 18th and 21st birthdays. I also took her to Mexico with me for a month, where we both got matching travel tattoos in Spanish. Her mother and I are still very close after all of these years. She's included me in so many aspects of their lives, asking my opinions on parenting, coming to me for help with other issues. Not only is she one of my best friends, but I think of her like family. My stepdaughter ended up moving to my city for university, and moved back in with me just over a year ago. In fact, I'm actually writing this on our balcony, and she's not 4 meters away sitting at her desk in her bedroom working from home. And while we've always been close, the current social distancing measures here in Australia have brought us even closer together. I remember being worried at the time of staying in her life was the right choice for me, for her, and for her mother. But looking back over the last 21 years, I can tell you that it's easily one of the best decisions I've ever made. That girl is my whole world. So yeah, I hope that my experience gives you ideas for how things could be. It's not always easy, and it's not always understood by others, but she's not your kid? I don't get it? But it's all worth it in the end. Good luck with it, man. I hope it works out for you too. That was really beautiful to read. You're a good man. Thanks for sharing that, seriously. Edit number 2. Okay folks, I think I'm going to take my bow now. It's time for me to leave and focus on the future. Again, I really appreciate all of you taking the time to write such motivational, heartfelt, inspiring things to a complete stranger. What started as a drunken rant really turned into something special that has helped me immeasurably. I'll always be grateful for you all. I'm bookmarking this so I can look at it when I'm feeling down. I wish the best for all of you. I might make an update in the future, but for now I'm done. I'm content in knowing I did right by myself and what I believe in. I have no regrets with how I handled things. Goodbye for now, and thanks again. And that's it for this video guys. If you have thoughts to share, leave a comment below. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you like this content. I'll catch you in the next one. Good day everyone.